Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday message for April 16th of 2023. The title of my talk today is Resurrecting Your Life Through Your I Am Present. There are many different meanings to the I Am Presence. It's one of those spiritual concepts that embodies so much that many people have their own interpretation of what it means. And this doesn't make any particular teaching better or worse than another interpretation. It simply means, as in a lot of cases with spirituality, that each person is holding their own piece of the puzzle and has their own unique perspective of understanding. So, what is it? Taken literally, your I am presence is your presence. It's the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of your being, but it is also your connection to source. It's your ability to manifest and co-create with the world around you. Your I am presence is the way you think, act, and interact with the world at large. It is a multifaceted, multidimensional, multifunctional spiritual concept. It is the core of your being. Making the connection to your I am presence isn't a singular event. It isn't something you find, but is a state of being you cultivate with practice throughout every day of your life. Connected with your I amness is what takes place when you start down a path of spiritual awareness and personal development, whether you know it or you don't. You find it when you take on the responsibility of your actions and acknowledge how they affect and co-create with the world around you. So, how do you increase your connection with your I am presence? Well, the immediate answer is having the awareness of your thoughts and consciously applying what you perceive as your highest intent in all aspects of life, whether it's in your spiritual practice, interpersonal relationships, or on even a larger scale. All of those areas of life can be actually established within your I am presence. But let's look at awareness before we go any further. There can be no progress or evolution of yourself without having an appreciation of where you're at in the moment. And developing a practice of mindfulness of how you act and react in every moment is the first step in being able to modify your behavior and bring it in line with your higher self. This is a daily practice. Actually, to me, it's a moment by moment practice. And it isn't something you do just when you feel like it. At this point, you might be turned off by the prospect of doing the inner work that's required. But the fact is, nothing worth striving for ever comes given to us on a silver platter. And there is work to be done. It's the inner work that has to be done. But work is something that we really need to change our perspective of, because all of it is about perspective. And just as much as you can choose to think of this path as work, you can also reimagine it as something joyful. Because we as humans seem to think the word work always has to mean struggle, strife, the sweat of our brow, all of that. And yet this spiritual practice can be filled with joy, greater love, more awareness of the beauty all around you. Your spiritual practice should never feel like a burden, but something you want to engage with. One of the most immediate ways you can embody your I amness is by bringing heart space awareness to your daily interactions with others. Your spiritual practice is equally, if not more, about relating to others as it is an internal process. And without the willingness to exercise these heart-spaced actions, all that would exist would be concepts without the experience to back them up. In more grounded terms, this means being fully present with those you're engaging with and not merely waiting for your turn to speak. However, the term listening from the heart isn't purely a figurative expression. It is a practical I am teaching. When you're trying to give someone your undivided attention but are finding it challenging to maintain focus, simply focus on your heart as you listen to that person. This is a simple but highly effective technique, not just to be present with yourself, but through focusing on your heart, it assists in dispelling any anxiety of the person who's speaking. It actually creates a safe, energetic space for a mutual exchange of sharing. You can exchange this concept further with a second I am teaching of relinquishing judgment and accusatory language. So many times when we're exchanging ideas with someone, it's not always possible to reach a middle ground. And this is especially true in times when we're kind of in a confrontation, but there are ways to get around us by communicating effectively without judgment. So when we're emotionally triggered and enter into an argumentative state, the tendency is to blame and then shame the other person. When we're rooted in a state of egoic mind, the inclination is to resort to the accusation of you. You did this. You made me feel this way. It's because of you that, XYZ. And this does nothing but inflame the ego of the other person you're speaking with, which causes an already troubled situation to escalate further. The way around this is simple. Just use terminology that takes away the pointedness of those remarks. Present behavior as the problem instead of the person, and you can create an arena for reconciliation and resolve what wouldn't have been possible otherwise. So the phrase that would have gone, "You said this to me," then becomes, "When I hear these words, they make me feel devalued. Can we think of another way to communicate when we're unhappy with one another?" Notice this does not only places emphasis on the behavior, but also creates a shared sense of responsibility with the inclusive term of we. So using both of these heart-spaced ways of communicating combined will actually transform the dynamic of your interpersonal relationships and help strengthen the connection with your I am presence and unity consciousness. Now, unity consciousness refers to the oneness that comes from attaining incremental degrees of enlightenment on your spiritual journey. It is the state of non-separation and non-duality that comes from integrating the concept that there is no division between any of us or anything, because ultimately we all originate from the same source light and share the same divine connection to one another. We are all an aspect of the same whole, divided into billions of parts and experiencing itself objectively. So each individuated part of the greater whole might achieve the same Godhead as its creator. So coming to this place of universal understanding means you must continually engage in letting go and revising of ideas and concepts as you outgrow them. Virtually all teachings have a limited value and at some point need to be let go of or looked at as having had relevance, but no longer being necessary. Not becoming attached to your beliefs is an important facet of continuing to grow with your I am presence, which was worded beautifully by the teacher of Vipassana, S.N. Goenka, when he said, attachment leads to misery. You embody your I amness by coming into this place of oneness, of letting go and acting without judgment. Your I am presence and its role in the ascension to 5D consciousness. Your I am presence has a vital role to play in our ascension to 5D consciousness. The ultimate purpose of any spiritual process is progression. You don't engage with these concepts and put all your time and effort into practices without there being a tangible result at the end of it all. Your I am presence is a multidimensional aspect of consciousness. It's your past, your present, your future thoughts, and actions that make up the totality of you as an expression of consciousness in your physical body. To put simply, the way you engage with your I amness now has a direct effect on how and when you will experience the shift to 5D when the time comes. To make the ascension to 5D, you must be of a sufficiently high vibration to transcend this current 3D matrix and become a vibratory match for that new level of consciousness. And you do that by making positive contributions and being of service to those who are in need, but without compromising their journey or free will. And the frequency that will raise your vibration quicker than any other is the vibration of love. This is where the concept of your I am presence comes full circle in its multidimensionality. As we are all one, connected to each other through the same source-like connection, anything we do and give to another is reflected directly back onto ourselves. And that is the beauty of giving and doing for others, because through doing and being of service, it's really an act of self-service and an act of self-love that does just as much for our soul's development in the immediate sense as it does for those that you're helping. So give as willingly and as freely of yourself as you can, because you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. As I stated earlier, the I am presence is your connection to source. It's your ability to manifest and co-create with the world around you. When Jesus made the statement, I am the resurrection and the life, he did not mean he was. He was speaking about the I am presence within him and everyone. He always made the statement, it is not I, but the Father within that does the work. That Father is God, source. And that is the I am presence within each of us. Charles Fillmore once stated that we are to call forth and command the I am presence that is within us. Edgar Cayce stated, do not be wishy-washy in your command of the I am presence. Demand and command that presence act in your life in the way you wish. Then hold to that command at all times. Saint Germain stated that we are to command the I am forces within us. Then hold that command until what you desire comes to pass. He stated, do not let a moment, a breath go by where you do not hold your command in your mind and body. Make your command real to you, no matter what the outside world reflects back. Hold it until you see your world change, and change it will. The I am presence must follow your command and bring forth what you desire. It may take a day, a month, a year, or several years. Hold it until the result is seen. I have a picture that is of the I am presence. And Saint Germain stated that the individualized presence of God, the I am presence, goes from the heart of presence through the top of the head and anchoring itself within the heart of the body. And he says this is the life, the light, the substance, the energy, the intelligence, and the activity by which the physical body has life and is able to move around. When your attention goes to your I am presence, this ray of light and energy begins to intensify and expand until the points of light within every cell of the body responds to it. As this intensifies, the radiance forms the tube of light above the body. And you can call your presence, the I am presence, into action to make it so invincible, so impenetrable, an invisible force, wall of light enfolding you, that no human thought, feeling, or suggestion can penetrate it or disturb you in any way. He stated that everyone should call the I am presence into action. And when you sincerely and firmly give attention to your beloved mighty I am presence, your ascension begins at that moment. And as the attention continues to be on your I am presence, he states the finer part of the human body ascends and is absorbed into the higher light body. Thus, the transformation from the human into the divine takes place. So when we begin to understand that the I am presence is source within us, and that when we say the words I am, we are actually calling this presence and power of God into action. And that is when we realize that we actually hold a magic wand, as one author wrote, to co-create our lives in any way we wish. Just saying the words I am calls forth all the power of the universe into our lives. Saint Germain stated that using the words I am is calling forth the perfection of source itself. We can say, I am healthy, I am healed, I am filled with the life of source, I am prosperous, I'm filled with joy, or any other thing we want to have happen in our lives. But just by saying the words I am over and over again, we are actually calling forth the entire perfection of source into play, instead of in just one area of our life. Charles Fillmore had a beautiful poem or statement that he made every morning. I call forth my I am presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge your presence and your power, O blessed Spirit, in your divine wisdom. Now erase my mortal limitations, and from your pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world according to your perfect law. You know, I love this statement as he is opening his entire being to be manifest according to the perfect law of source. So today, as you go through your life, just acknowledge the presence and power of source by just stating these little two words. And let's do it now. So I invite you just to close your eyes. And if you feel like it, put your hand over your heart and just say the words, I am. I am. I am. I am. You can say that 2 or 3 times to yourself. You can spend a half an hour saying it. Whatever works for you. So thank each and every one of you for watching this YouTube today. May God bless each and every one. Namaste. And have a beautiful day.